Well, General Michael Flynn made a statement this morning in his telegram. It read in part, quote, "I'm not aware of a single United States senator fighting to expose election fraud from this past 2020 election." He continued, "Given what we, the people, are learning in just Arizona and Georgia alone, along with the devastating array of political decisions coming from the White House that are placing American lives at risk and destroying our country, that should be enough to immediately stop all engines and relook at the November 2020 presidential election," end quote. Afghanistan, January 6th, arrests, the targeting of citizens that share a different political view, the silencing of speech to anyone that really even questions this regime, the complete loss of medical freedom, the empowerment of federal agencies, and then all the way down to local school boards that are, for example, strapping damaging devices to your kids' faces for an entire school day. To me, this looks like communism. Now, Jan Morgan is an Associated Press award-winning veteran television investigative journalist turned citizen activist and 2A advocate. She's appeared as a regular guest on Fox Business Network on Second Amendment issues, as well as a national spokesperson for Citizens for Trump. And she's running to unseat the corporate-owned shill and Walmart bag boy, Senator John Boozman in Arkansas. She joins us now. Jan Morgan, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Glad to be with you, Stu.
You know, a lot of people, myself included, have previously just assumed that Arkansas would be safe from leftist infiltration, but that's just not the case, is it?
There's nowhere that's safe in America right now from the absolute destruction of this country. We are in the process of a communist takeover in this country, and it's happening everywhere. And the target states are the states that were generally the red states, like Arkansas, like Texas. I mean, what's happening at our border at Texas, that is the only reason that is happening, is so that they can turn Texas to a blue state. And everybody knows if we lose Texas, we'll never have another Republican president again. But still, I'll tell you what, the way things are happening and at the speed that they're happening, I'm concerned that we're not even going to make it to the next election.
A lot of people are. We look down under at Australia. A lot of people consider that to be the prototype for what's going to happen here. You look at the UK. We have 450 million some odd guns in this country. Is the Second Amendment the reason why this Marxist communist takeover hasn't been completed? Because certainly that's the goal.
Well, of course, which is why the far left and the communists want to disarm the people. Our saving grace has always been the armed citizenry. But, you know, the reason all this is happening, Stu, is because of weak, spineless Republicans in D.C. You know, we sent what we thought were two solid Republican conservative warriors to D.C. But after 21 years of being in office, the guy that I'm running against has turned out to be a total failure, a failing voting record from four different conservative outlets have given him a failing grade. There are several Democrats in D.C. that have a better voting record. The John Birch Society has given him a score so low, they say that 83% of the time his votes have been in conflict with the Constitution and Bill of Rights. So that's where we are in America. And the reason this is happening and the reason these spineless Republicans are getting away with it is because they are bought and paid for by corporations like Walmart, like Tyson's. What we're having here is corporate tyranny. You know, if they couldn't accomplish it through our government, they're using corporations. And that's what's happening in our state as well as other southern states.
One of the scariest things for this machine, the corporate shills that you're talking about, one of the scariest things for them were the words that Donald Trump uttered during his inauguration, that he was going to transfer the power back to the people. I mean, I think that even Americans have forgotten the moniker of the people, by the people, for the people. They've just become so used to looking to D.C. for being told what to do next. We have been conditioned. This has been going on for decades. How do we undo it?
Educating people. I mean, that has been what I've been doing the past, 6 years, just trying to educate people and make them understand. We have people in our state who think they can't even go to the state capitol. When I say we need to go to the state capitol, I need you to show up and help me fight against this bad legislation. And the response I've heard is, you mean we can just go to the capitol? I said, what do you mean? You own that building. You pay the bills for that building. Those people that are elected to office, you pay their salaries. They work for you. They should be able to sit down and listen to you. You're the employer, they're the employee. People just assume if we're a solid red state that the Republicans are in control and they're doing the best they can do, when actually that's just not the case, not only in our state, but around this country, and of course in D.C. I'm sick and tired of seeing D.C. politicians stand up and talk on national TV. All they do is rant and rave on national TV. I want them to actually do something.
So many Republicans are included in that description that you just so eloquently stated. I mean, you described these politicians perfectly. And I think a lot of people are really pissed off about this because on the ground, I mean, we're looking at 2 decades spent in the sand falling apart in 2 days. Nobody's apologizing for it. Americans are left trapped over in this hellhole of Afghanistan. And then all the way down to our neighborhoods in our communities where school boards have this newfound power granted to them by I don't know who. We're only allowed to look at one science, the science of one Tony Fauci, proven to be a huge criminal. He's in bed with Bill Gates. Their names are all over these patents. It should be completely obvious. And the mass debate sparks a lot of emotion because no parent wants to see their kids strapped down to this device that they know to be completely ineffective. But the message is a whole lot deeper. This is not about health and safety. This is about control and compliance. Am I right?
That's right. Well, because that's what communism is control and compliance. That's exactly what it is. You know, when I said a few minutes ago that we need DC politicians to stop being talking heads on TV and start doing their job, I meant actually doing their job. I had a radio DJ ask me the other day, I was on a show, and he said, well, Jen, if you were in DC right now, what would you be doing any differently than the senator that you're running against? And I said, how much time do you have? Everything. First of all, I would not have accepted electoral college votes from those states where there were clear and strong allegations of voter fraud. 73% of our state voted for Donald Trump. All we wanted our Republican senators in DC to do is stand up when those electoral college votes were being counted and say, no, we're not ready to accept those. We have the right to stand up and say there's something wrong here. We want this investigated. They did not. The guy I'm running against, he did not. And furthermore, he also blamed President Trump for what happened January 6th. He blamed President Trump for what happened January 6th. That's a Republican, the guy I'm running against.
Openly, on social media.
Openly, on his face, it's still there. He still is not backtracking from that. He is solid on that. He is solid on that. And in addition to that, he voted to confirm Linda Thomas Greenfield as UN ambassador. Even our other senator in Arkansas had enough sense to vote against that confirmation. You know what Linda Thomas Greenfield said in a speech? Go back and look it up. She said that America's founding documents are weaved with white supremacy. She is a racist. She is an apologist. She is already an embarrassment, an international embarrassment, and she's already on the apology tour and the America shaming tour. America is still the greatest nation on earth. That's why everyone wants to come here. And speaking of that, this is what has me more upset than just about anything right now. We have tens of thousands of people in the healthcare industry, Stu, not only in our state, but across this country. But let me just talk about in our state, because I just finished wrapping up a huge protest. I attended a huge protest to help these people fight for their jobs because they're refusing to get the vaccine. These are all the way up from CNAs to RNs to doctors to surgical technicians. These are people, even scientists who work for our largest medical institutions in the state of Arkansas. They are willing to get fired rather than take that vaccine. And yet, in our state, those people also cannot qualify for unemployment. So these people that a year ago we heralded as heroes, I remember even seeing a sign outside of a hospital, heroes work here during the height of that pandemic when nobody knew for sure what this was all about and how bad it was going to be. Those people kept getting up every day, kept putting their lives on the line and going to work and working for us. And now they've gone from heroes to zeros. Their opinions, their feelings don't count. You don't take this vaccine, we're going to kick you to the curb. But oh, wait a minute. You also can't get unemployment. You're totally useless and we don't care about you in our society anymore. But we're going to bring all these Afghanistan people over into the United States, and we're going to welcome them. Our governor opened the welcome mat to these people in our state to bring them into our state. And these are people we have absolutely no way of vetting. We're going to give them free health care, free education, give them a smartphone, give them money, but we're not going to take care of those American citizens who stood up and risked everything for us simply because they won't take the vaccine. This is an unprecedented time in our country, Stu. And for anybody to think it's anything other than a communist takeover, they're beyond misinformed. What happened? Biden has sold out. He has sold out to China. He is executing the plan that was in place all along. None of this was an accident. And not only should he be arrested, if you want to know what I would be doing different in DC than our current senator, I wouldn't be on Fox News talking all the time. I would be out there demanding his arrest, Joe Biden's arrest for treason, for aiding and abetting an enemy invasion at our border, which is what's happening at our border, and for bringing all these foreign nationals into our country, which we've also found out that they've been given tens of thousands of visas with no numbers on them so that anybody and everybody can get them. We have no way of vetting these people. Yeah. We have no way of vetting these people, Stu.
I couldn't agree more. And, the times are so urgent, but it's also such an extraordinary time to be alive because we can actually be a part of reversing, stopping, and defeating these people the history books that our grandchildren will read about how the patriots defeated the tyrants yet once again. The globalists fell. You can be a part of it. Jan Morgan is leading that fight. JanMorganForSenate.com. Jan Morgan, thank you so much for being here for your America First fight. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu. Appreciate you.
Another website that I hope you'll visit is vaccine-police.com. My friend that I have come to know personally, Christopher Key, is doing a phenomenal job fighting these crimes against humanity as it relates to the vaccines. He's standing up against CEOs, hospital administrators, big pharma people, and these tyrannical school boards. Here's a fact. He got fired from his job by his woke boss after he stood up against this overreaching oligarchy called a school board and fought against mask mandates, by the way, successfully. No more mask mandate in that school. Guess what? He didn't even have a kid in that school district, not even any skin in the game. He just cares about kids. He cares about what's right. He cares about our country. So his new calling from God, his new profession, his new job is going around the country helping you fight this tyrannical overreach. You can help support him. He's got the boots on the ground. You can document all of this stuff in his Telegram at Vaccine Police, or you can go to his website and help him out. $5, $10, $100, whatever you can afford. Go to vaccine-police.com. This is a cause that I support personally, and I hope that you'll join me. Go to vaccine-police.com right now and give Christopher Key any help. You are helping so many people by helping him. He's really making a difference. Vaccine-police.com.